My name is Harrison Wheeler, and today we are going to be talking about roles, responsibilities, and what happens when they break. Some examples of this may include an engineer that might start doing design work, a PM that is starting to make design decisions. It can be a really tricky situation to be in when you're ever at this crossroads of where something needs to be done. More than likely, a conversation needs to happen. In these situations, tensions can be pretty high. After all, you have a role that you are fulfilling, right? They have a role that they are fulfilling, and sometimes they get blurry. Also, sometimes expectations aren't clear. So there's a lot of gray area where it's very difficult to figure out who owns what. If you're ever in a situation where something has unexpectedly happened or results aren't the way that you expected them, it's really important to make sure that you level set with that partner. Now, in some cases, people most of the time don't really even recognize it or they're able to acknowledge it. And so it's important for us to make sure that we facilitate that discussion. Now, because these situations can be intimidating or awkward, our first thought might be to talk to our manager and have our manager settle those types of discussions. But usually when you go that route, it may escalate the situation, right? Because the person that you're working with may feel a bit slighted that you didn't come to them and communicate this to them directly. And so what we're going to talk about today are ways that you can help to facilitate these discussions and hopefully come out with an outcome that's amicable on both ends and also healthy and build trust moving forward. Number one, the first thing that you want to do is not make any sort of personal comments or personal attacks. And this might show up as you saying, I think that you are being unprofessional, or you're stepping out of your role, because a lot of times that can be triggering emotionally. And when these things start to happen, people aren't really going to listen to the rest of what you have to say. So you want to start with a mutual agreement. And this can come in many different forms, right? This can be a company mission. This may be product or organizational principles. These are things that everyone has aligned on once they join the organization. So it's good to start there because everyone is aligned on that, and that can build a constructive foundation to the discussion. Additionally, when you start to think about the outcome, it also says that we're in this together. And it's always giving folks the benefit of the doubt that they're putting their best intentions forward. And so sometimes things don't get along. Other teams might have deadlines. Maybe this person is working on a number of different projects and just needs to make a decision. These aren't things that are done out of malice, but they're done out of haste. And so it's important to really be empathetic of the situation. Sometimes the output of work might be very small, but the thinking that happens behind it takes a lot of effort. And so it's good to make sure that you are communicating that. Now comes the conversation, right? And so when you're having this conversation, again, make sure that you're taking any sort of personal sort of accusations out of it. Because again, we're leading with empathy first. People are under many different circumstances that may cause them to make the decisions that they did. It's always important after you're having a discussion with somebody that you have a follow-up action plan that you all will work and build on. The reason why this is important is that if it happens again, you can go back and say, hey, we've discussed this on multiple occasions. Additionally, in the case that you go to your manager, they're likely going to ask you if you even had a discussion in the first place. But in this case, it's really important to make sure that this discussion happens, right? In any scenario that you're in, again, where you're with somebody that may not have done things that you expected, it is always important for you to address it with that person first. You can let your manager know that you are having this discussion because it's actually a really good opportunity to get some feedback and start to engage in some form of mentorship, right? I can't stress enough how important soft skills are in learning how to really approach these and build them as a part of your craft as a designer is going to help you build on having an environment where you all are able to be your best because you are comfortable having these types of discussions and learning from them. If you like what you heard, like and subscribe to the Technically Speaking channel. Thanks again.